Ruler School is brought to you by Odyssey Games, where you can go to pre-order upcoming Force of Will sets, ccgprime.com for singles and supplies, cardodoko.com for those rulers in the international market looking for product, as well as our guest lecturer members Vite Ramen and Full Grammar Alchemist. Class is in session. Hey there, rulers! Welcome back after a long week of spoilers with Force of Will to your favorite ever live Force of Will podcast. It's Office Hours featuring myself and DMO73 after a week off, and I'm back with Mike Rance, who may or may not be slightly dying, and Paul Reisman. Clearly, because he is glitchy on and a little bit slow on his video. But we're here. We're here to talk about all things spoilers for Evil Cluster, and we're excited. Just a few pieces of housekeeping. If you like what we're doing, want to consider supporting the channel, check that link down in the description to go become a member. It's the easiest way to support us directly. You can also like, subscribe, and share it out to all your friends who are into Force of Will. And you can check out the pre-orders for Evil Cluster. Starter decks, booster boxes, and pre-release kits are currently available through the link in the description with Odyssey Games. And you should let your playgroup know about the circuit kits, the quarter 3 circuit kits, which are available now. This is the last week to get them pre-ordered so that we can get them shipped out in August. We might be able to take some next week, but we really want to try to get these turned around quickly since we didn't have one last circuit. And in other cool news, I wanted to show these off. We've been approved to start making banners again for prizing. Look at it. Look at it. So, for those of you who come to Fow Fest next year on Fowther's Day weekend, you're going to be able to start getting new age banners. We're super excited about being able to produce those. I'm super grateful to the company for trusting me to produce these. It's a cool piece of Force of Will swag that has been out of the game for a number of years, and it's cool to start making new ones. So it's time to start sweating in circuit events again. This man needs to start replenishing his promo supply, or his prize point supply. So let's talk about Evil Cluster. We got primarily cards from the new starter decks, but we got some teases of some cards from the new stuff. We also got some teases from the company about the next mini set, which is essentially going to kind of be part of the Memoria collection. It's a 25 card set. The something 10 dimensions. I can't remember the name off the top of my head. ATD will be the set code for it. Some of the cards will be Wanderer legal. Some of the cards will be Paradox legal. Those of us who are at Worlds will get our chance to pick them up in full art foil first, but then they will be available to everyone else in terms of the Memoria packs. They'll be available, which I think is pretty cool. Gives players at Worlds something like fancy that's just for them, because these are the only ways you'll be able to get them foil, which I think is cool. I'm excited about that. We still don't know if any of them are going to be legal at Worlds. I'm curious. Antechamber. Thank you. Antechamber of the 10 dimensions. Everything shows not available on the Odyssey Games site. Let me check right now. Unless it's all sold out immediately. Which seems doubtful. Break Descent into the Raven's Catacombs. Oh. Well then, interesting. I doubt they've all sold out immediately. So maybe check back tomorrow. I'll talk with Elliot about it, but I know it's up. So the link is up. So we'll go back into that. I doubt they fully sold out that fast. That would be insane. Crazy, because I posted that link today. But we're getting started. I'm excited about that new stuff. But we also got our primary look at the new starter deck rulers, and we got a little bit of a hint on some of the main deck stuff. So let's jump into it, shall we? We're going to start with the blue-black cards. We're going to talk about Immortal King of Slithmere Valgot, Divinity 11, +1/+1 counters on entities you control become 0/0 counters. This is so that they don't counteract and dissolve your -1/-1 counters. Whenever a demon resonator without a -1/-1 counter on it is put into the graveyard, you reanimate it with the -1/-1 counter on it only once per turn. If you at the end of your turn, you can banish a demon resonator, like one that doesn't have a -1/-1 counter on it, to draw a card, and then it has judgment for blue, blue, and black. On his backside, we have Valgot the Bloodthirsty Tyrant, who is an 8/14, goes up to Divinity 19 and Vileborn 8, so you'll lose 800 life. Your opponent will lose 800 life once per turn when he's targeted by anything. Terrifying and imperishable. He ramps the stone, which is pretty common for our starter deck rulers in current era stuff. And Resonance Darkness Magic Stone. Each other player loses X hundred life, where X is the number of demon cards you control in public areas. So clearly, life loss related stuff. First kind of impressions on Valgot here. I'll save my perspective for the last in the go round. So what do you guys have for him for so far? Oh, they're muted for us? Oh, hold on. Try now. Are you back?
Can you hear me now? Are you back?
Can you hear me now?
Hold on.
Wait.
Should be good now.
Wait.
Can you hear me now?
Can you hear me
Should
now?
be good. Should be good now. I'm sorry, guys.
Yay! It's okay.
As you were saying, Mike, I was the only one really talking at this point, so we're great.
All I hear is Jeremy breathing.
Okay, Paul is back from the
okay.
Memory of Worlds. So
Thank God.
share us your thoughts, Mike.
Yeah.
Apologies for that.
All good. It's okay. I wasn't saying anything meaningful anyway. I just think every single life loss deck that Forcible's had in the past like 3-4 years has always been just like, I'm just gonna wombo combo you down with a life loss trigger that's gonna recur over and over again until you die in some way, shape, or form. Obviously, there's certain variations on it, but it was never like anything meaningful like that. Having a J ruler side that's like, you are going to lose life and you're not gonna like it is baller to me. I love this, and I also really like the divinity going higher when you flip over, so that you get like a little bit of a bonus, a little bit extra incentive to go on the backside. Unlike the new Valhalla rulers, which didn't have any incentive for you to flip them other than Brunhilde saying resurrect a thing. Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
So I think it's neat. I think this is a really good design. Valborn 8 is a very funny word to have on this card, especially because I realized when I was like looking back at what the keyword is. If you target him, you deal 800, like -800 life to your opponents.
Even if you target him, yeah.
Yeah, so if you target him with like a really quick, like something like cheap effect on your turn, -8, and then you go to your opponent's turn, cheap effect, -8.
I'd like to point out the blue IU spell that has Remnant that cost 1 blue.
Oh, optional possession.
Optional possession. Just like
very good.
Okay.
Yeah, that's pretty good. Hey, die. Hey, die.
Yeah.
I like this J ruler. He feels like a very classic Force of Will J ruler.
Yeah.
And because he has terrifying, like there's stuff that you can do to your opponent's stuff to shrink it down, I'm sure. That's gonna make this terrifying a little bit more effective. But 800 is not a ton. So if we can put some -1/-1 counters on our opponent's stuff to make it so our terrifying is more terrifying than less. Yeah.
Yeah. Yo-Yo pointing out.
We'll be in a good place.
Yo-Yo pointing out Ethereal Princess. Use Ethereal Princess to ping this. Why make your opponent lose 2 life when you can make your opponent lose 8? Whoa.
And 16.
Gross.
Yeah.
That's pretty good.
Yeah, for sure. Let's talk about his master rune, because I do want to talk about master runes in general here from this kind of initial concept. So this is Blood Spoil Corruption. It is a 4-drop Divinity 11 that if you're playing it with Valgot, which it's our first multicolor master rune, so it's like pretty so like you could play this with a blue ruler or a black ruler, but it has reunited with Valgot to be untouchable, and every other player gains, you essentially double all life loss that you have every turn that's happened to you each turn, right? So and then it makes every other player lose 1,000 life. So really, this is like like it's going to be lose 2,000 life at the end of the turn kind of a thing. My point is to this spell is 3 things. One, I love that even though it has untouchable, it has no cost reduction elements. I think that's great. I want like big bombastic spells like this to be expensive, especially if they have untouchable. 2, Divinity 11 is Valgot's entire frontside divinity. Like, so you can technically cast this on Valgot's frontside, but if you've done anything else with your rune deck, you don't have access to this, which does say, hey, you want this big bursty final push of reach, you gotta flip Valgot. I really like that design space wise. We'll also talk about how I really like the design space wise of the other master rune for Matilda in a little bit too. This to me is the design space that all master runes should have explored before. And I think to Mike's credit of like the problem with the original rune rulers is that the divinity of their master runes was like you would cast them as like your second rune and not care, because it was just like the divinity was like 3, and you were like, okay, whatever, I got 7 more to burn. They felt so good so fast for so little investment being the master rune that it's like that feels weird. I like this design space being that like, no, these feel like bombastic spells, and you are going to have to either work for them or sacrifice something else to get to them like consistently. And so I think that's a really good trade-off to explore in that space that puts a better limitation on the rune deck in a way that I think was missing the first time around. Because like
I was also I was gonna say this is also just like the way the master rune should have been designed. Not only from like the divinity standpoint, but also from like it being like a finisher. This is the culmination of everything you've been doing with your rune roller and what it needs and what it wants to do.
Yeah.
Like, why was this not the design choice from the beginning? And also, this is the exact example of a card that should have untouchable. That should say something along the lines of players cannot chase this card, like we'll see coming up later.
Like imagine if
whatever.
if Sealing Scroll had Divinity 7.
Yeah, that would have made it so much cooler.
Like it would have been so much more balanced. It would have made so many more of the other rune decks significantly more playable. Because it's like, look, you can burn Hanzo's Master Rune to stop me from casting a rune off the jump. Absolutely, you can do that. It's going to take all of your divinity pretty much to do this. So get ready to have a lot of the rest of your utility gone. Right? And then it's like, oh, okay. I have to really think about this. Am I trying to stop Tears of the Fallen? Is that really worth burning that much of my, like, you know what I mean? So so much of the Divinity rune space was just like Divinity 2, Divinity 3, Divinity 1, Divinity 4. Like it was the weight of Divinity wasn't really flushed out very well in a way that like made things feel much more balanced. This is great design for that purpose. Like if you truly don't want to cast any of your other runes and you want to go for a Blood Spoil Corruption on turn 4, okay, you can. It's going to take everything to do this, right? But if you tried to need to use the other ones at all, you're going to have to put in some work to get to the Master Rune. And I really like that design space. I think it feels a lot better. It better balances the fact that you always have this available to you at all times. Like, I just really like it. It's really, really good.
Yeah.
Let's talk about Matilda, because where this is Queen of Velmardia Matilda, Divinity 9. At the end of your turn, if your life is 3,000 or less, you gain 300 life. So a good counterpart if we're talking about starter deck versus starter deck, right? These two are going to pair off against each other. If you have a good amount of life loss element, Velmardia or Matilda has a way to kind of mitigate that as you're playing the game, which I think is nice. Pay 1 white, reveal the top 2 cards of your deck, put 1 with Bestow or a mono attribute light resonator from among them into your hand, rest on the bottom of your deck, and then produce 1 white to play only spells with Bestow once per turn. That is a will ability. That does not use the chase. That resolves 100% of the time, which I think is great, and I'm glad that the will produced for it can't play dudes. Good design. Good design.
Yeah. Like you get the option to get a dude, but like you're incentivized to get the bestow card.
The additions.
Like that's good design.
Yeah, exactly. I like that a
Yeah.
lot. I like that a lot. I think it's or like, oh, you already have a good card with bestow in your hand? Well, then grab the dude. Oh, okay, great. Like, I think it's really, really good. And then on the flip side, Judgment for 3, which she has Incarnation of Virtue. She's an 8/12 with Divinity 21, Defiant 2, Flying, and Barrier Blue-Black. Enter, she ramps a stone, just like Valcott does. Resonance Light Magic Stone, which thank you for putting on the starter deck, having the keyword explained with reminder text. Good job.
Good.
Put target light resonator card with total cost 3 or less from your graveyard into the field. Resonators you control gain drain until end of turn. Do keep in mind that that does not say mono attribute. So that can be whatever.
Yay.
Athena.
Blessed night.
The Olympian Athena. Whenever this card attacks, you gain life equal to its defense. It can attack twice with flying because of Defiance, so you could gain 1,600 or gain 2,400, which is great. Divinity 21. I think this is great. It has barrier blue-black. This is another thing that I think is really nice. That they kind of did it a little bit with the starter deck for decks for Hero Cluster or Trinity Cluster, is that the 2 J rulers had pseudo protection from one another in some way, shape, or form, right? Like Yokoshima had barrier blue white. Lenneth had barrier black green red, I think, or black red. I think it was green red. But they couldn't kill each other easily. Matilda has barrier blue black, and Valgot doesn't have any form of barrier, but has Vileborn and Imperishable, right? So there's like some natural built-in kind of elements there too. Her 18 matchup must be abysmal. Sure.
Correct.
But yeah, I really like this a lot. I think this is a cool use of Defiant. And then let's talk about her Master Rune. This is Soul Burst, 4 cost, reunited. Divinity 10. So she just cannot cast this card unless she is flipped.
Good design.
Put target non-chance mono attribute light card from your graveyard into the field, but if you're reunited with Matilda, players cannot chase this card. If a J rulers you control haven't attacked this turn, entities that were in the field before the spell resolves lose all abilities until end of turn. That means your magic stones also can't produce will, which is now why I'm realizing it says all produced will ceases to exist. Then destroy all non-magic stone entities. Damage that would be dealt to you becomes 0 until the beginning of your next turn. Keep in mind, that's not damage prevention. That's becoming 0. And all produced will ceases to exist. So if your opponent has a bunch of magic stones and they float it all in response to this, okay, still all goes away.
It's gone.
It's
Bye.
gone. And then you just nuke the board. My only downside to this spell is that it kills Matilda.
Oh. Oh yeah.
Because it will kill her too.
Back you. Oh God.
The only downside to this is that it kills Matilda, which is a little unfortunate. But it is kind of an oh crap button and a big reanimate, right? So I think that's kind of cool. That's what the flavor says. That she dies to this, right? She sacrifices herself to play this big old spell, which I think is fine. I think it's very cool.
Lore.
Because also here's the thing: it'll also remove Imperishable from Valgot and doesn't target.
Oh.
So if Valgot is judgmented and therefore has Vileborn 8, you're just like, no.
Yay.
Great.
Die.
Good counterplay. We cheated in Alice liberated, guarded, and swing for game anyway. She exploded. Yeah, I like this. This is, again, I think this is just another great example of having the divinity cost of a big spell like this be large. And like I just think it's very nice. Keep in mind that it does say things that lose. It does mean, by the way, that anything that gets cheated back in after this spell, like as part of the spell's resolution, will have all of its abilities, right? So you kind of like clear the field for the thing you're reanimating to come in and just do what it's supposed to do, right? So like, again, Atlas Liberated Guardian would be a great reanimate target for this, right? To just kind of swing out and do some really crazy stuff. So yeah, I like this card a lot. I think it's cool. I think the design space is cool, which does bring me to, before we get into the starter deck cards, I do want to talk about this extension rule, because I think this gives some pretty big hints to the rest of Hero Cluster, and Alejandro is going to quietly laugh at me because I'm clearly going to be wrong, but he can't say that, but we're going to go for it. So this is the Eternal Pact with Barus. It is an extension rule that you can start the game in your extension rule area. If your starting rule is Larinka, that's Carlina, Nero, and Symphony in its name, you have 7 cards with Barus. Exactly 3 of them have to have the Warden type, which means you can't play 4 Barus Wardens, and you don't have cards with attributes other than fire or the attributes of your starting ruler in your deck or rune deck. J/rulers will you control with Divinity, gain Divinity +8. Resonator cards you control lose quick cast in all zones during your opponent's turn. That's a really big downside. And once per turn, you can play a rune card from your graveyard. If it's a chant, it gets RFG'd as it resolves. And then whenever a magic stone you don't control is destroyed, every other player loses 400 life. Now, no, Larinka is not Carlina. Listen, those are anagrams of each other. Same hairstyle, always eating. Is a little thick. She might not be Carlina from the jump. She will become Carlina. I'm just saying. Anyway. Carlina reincarnated or something. But what I want to talk about this is, I think, given the way it was discussed about how their students, their true power is unlocked by forming a contract with the demon, everything else, and its rune rulers, I think that the main set rulers are going to have divinity of like 5. I think they're going to start with lower divinities, because you can choose not to make a pact with the demon and have downside, and then you can't access your rune deck as well, or you can make a pact with a demon, have some downside, get access to a higher divinity count. Total called shot in the dark. I might be wrong, but everything about that design space so far and how they're doing master runes and everything else really makes me feel that that's where we're going with these, which I think is very cool. Very lore-driven design space. So, wait until the lore episodes.
This card has a lot of words on it. I read
it does. It does. It does. But it has some like legitimate drawbacks and some advantages that come with it, right? The based on how runes are, having higher divinity could really change the course of how you build the deck, which I think is cool. So, Divinity 2, force the XR to be used. Or like Divinity 4, I think like no higher than 5.
Divinity
I would
0.
think. You know, I think that would be fine. But it's cool. But let's let's talk about main deck cards. Let's get into that. Do we want to start with Wardens and then go into main deck cards, or do we want to start with main deck cards and then talk about Wardens later? We only have one Warden so far.
Yeah, let's talk about literally Liliana of the Veil.
Okay. So this is our first full look at a Warden. We still don't know quite exactly how they work. So we know they get cast and go into Ruler Zone. Pay 2 black to resolves, goes into the Ruler's area. It has a 3 willpower at base. You +1 willpower to everyone discard a card, and then mill 3 cards, and then buy back a mono attribute resonator from among them, those 3 cards milled to your hand. And then -2, every other player banishes a resonator with the highest attack. She can judgment for 2 black, only if there are 5 willpower counters on this card, so it takes at least 2 turns to get her there. And then flips over to being a 12/12 J ruler with -3 willpower to be able to play cards from your graveyard with an additional cost of removing 3 cards from the game until end of game, and -6 to choose a player. The chosen player banishes all resonators they control, and then discard a card for each resonator banished this way. She has Terrifying and Vileborn 5. Keep in mind that she has no way to gain willpower on this side, so if you want the -6, you gotta wait at least 3 turns. So, Underworld Breach on the J Ruler side.
It's Liliana, Underworld Breach. It's a nuke and a discard, and it's got stats. And they really said, you know what? It's time to put planeswalkers in this game where you're basically playing Commander.
Yeah, for sure. We have them. It's fine. I like the Wardens as a mechanic. My main thing, and maybe Alejandro can tell us here in the chat. So that's what I want to hear from Alejandro, if he can, is how we interact with Wardens in the ruler area to potentially manipulate their willpower. If there's a way to do that. If Alejandro can't tell us now, then that's fair. We'll learn eventually. But I imagine that we need to have some way other than just cancel this card to be able to interact with Wardens. Otherwise, it's a design space that's a little bit concerning to me.
I wonder if they're going to interact the way that you interact with rulers in ABC, where it's like if a ruler gets convoked in, if you swing at it, it removes the counter.
That was what my thought was too, is like you could have them be attackable and then have like an X hundred amount of damage translate to this much amount of willpower, right? So like, every 400 damage is 1 willpower because of the translation of like 400 to like 100 kind of translation with how
and you combat into convoked rulers. Alejandro, I've never read a card in my life.
You can combat it. You can combat into convoked rulers.
Very interesting. I wonder why Alejandro said that.
Crazy. I wonder.
Crazy.
As long as we have a way to in my opinion, as long as there is a way to interact with the willpower of a ruler or of a warden when it is a warden, I'm fine. Like that's fine. Like the fact that like they can be canceled. If they can be attacked to have their willpower manipulated, like that kind of stuff, that's fine with me. I think it's cool space. Underworld Breach is a little, that card was just banned in Magic. That being said, we don't have the other types. As far as I know, I was talking with Mike before the podcast, I don't think we have the cards that are akin to the things that got Underworld Breach banned.
Jeremy, Deathrite Shaman is still banned in Modern and Magic the Gathering. If a Deathrite Shaman would be fine in Force Will, I think this card's going to be okay.
Yeah, I'm not like concerned about it. Like I'm not concerned. Like I'm just saying like it's interesting and it's kind of funny. Here, quick, let's show this card to all the Magic players who complained when Underworld Breach got banned and get them into Force of Will. That's it. Sorry.
That's pretty easy.
I should do that. I just do that. Sad that Underworld Breach got banned. Play this game instead. We have it.
Dude, send it to Covert and go blue. Fuck it.
So when is Foul getting slivers? Kind of did in the Ein support. Yeah, the gears were kind of slivers as best as possible.
Fairies were slivers technically at the beginning.
Morgana's cool.
Do we have confirmation that Wardens will not be able to be used outside of this cluster's rulers?
No. They're just a card. They're just a card type that go into the ruler area when they're done.
Put them in your deck.
Okay. Interesting.
Keep in mind, though. Keep in mind that Warden.
This is a design type that I would love to see. Just
keep in mind, Wardens can't call stones, right? So that's an interesting implication. When they become a J ruler, they can call stones, but Wardens are not rulers, so they could not call stones. So I'm excited about it. I think Wardens are a cool design space. I think it's cool. If they are usable outside of this cluster, it also is then suddenly like, oh, I can play Wardens in older rulers. Oh, that's an interesting example. Like an interesting design space to explore.
You could play Wardens everywhere.
There you go.
All right.
There you go.
Yes, sir.
Well,
we will officially have Planeswalkers, baby. Let's go.
Asuka.
Where am I jamming this card?
Play Morgana and Asuka. I think that's pretty cool. Mill 3. Once per turn, buy something back, set herself up for the graveyard.
Babatunde, it is implied that you can attack into Wardens.
See Alejandro's previous status about can you combat into convoked rulers? That's like hint, hint, hint.
Yep. Hint, hint, wink, wink.
So let's talk about darkness cards. Let's go right into the bed. And keep in mind, Morgana will be in the starter deck. because it's a starter deck card. I believe we've seen every starter deck card for Valgod at this point, if our count is correct. Though I don't quote me on that. So let's go into it.
I'm going to quote you on that, Jeremy.
Do it. Malevolent Abomination of Slithmere, 3/4, quick cast, untouchable, Vileborn 2. Has the flavor text for the reminder text for Vileborn. Good. Whenever this card deals 500 damage to a player, battle damage to a player, you draw a card. You can discard a card or banish a Resonator to give something +1/+1 until end of game. Recover it. Play this ability only once per turn. Put 2 cards from your graveyard on the bottom of your deck. This card gains flying until end of turn and +2/+2 until end of game. Pretty easy to ramp this guy up. Feels like a pretty starter. It feels like a pretty decent starter deck card that I honestly think might see some play in, like, probably more geared towards Paradox. But the fact that it's a 2-drop quick cast untouchable is like, oh, okay. Like, this can replace itself and the card that you have to discard very quickly, considering that it can recover itself. So it can potentially hit for 500 damage in the air twice in one turn and then draw 2 cards. Seems pretty good.
It's neat.
Yeah,
The whole
Jeremy and
lot-
I
I
were
don't
talking
like-
before the podcast, and
Yeah.
we thought that I thought this card would be really good in a Beatrice list.
Mm-hmm. I also
Um,
agree that.
Interesting.
Discard a card. Imagine if this was based off of some support for some other rulers that were kind of demonic in some way, shape, or form that kind of blended in. Oh, I wonder if we'll see anything for a certain bitey lady.
Yeah. This card also
100.
does. By the way, this card also can trigger Vileborn by targeting itself and pitching it.
Oh, that's so funny.
Oh,
That's so
gross.
funny.
But keep in mind that it does say specifically 500 battle damage, so you can't, like, Vileborn doesn't matter there. Very cool card. Reprint in the Rune deck, we have Monstrosify, which we've seen before. Cool to see that back. Next up, we have
Make big thing.
Make Big Thing. Then we have Monstrosify.
Oh, you can target this. You can target the thing
Yeah.
with that, and then Vileborn somebody for 2, and then swing in for 9, and it's the battle damage is +5.
Yeah, there's cool
500 or
interactions
more, or
here.
just 500.
If you've dealt 900, you've dealt 500.
Right. That's right. That's right. Not
Desperate Pact is a chant rune. You pay 1 less to play this card if you choose the first option. Destroy target light or wind resonator if you control a demon entity, draw a card. Or put a non-demon resonator of total cost 3 or less into the field under your control with a -1/-1 counter on it. Becomes a demon and bloodlust until the end of the game.
Sweet.
And you could play it in your rune deck if you wanted to, because it's a chant/rune.
This card is very cool.
I do like it. Pretty cool little mini reanimate effect.
Yeah.
I
Next up-
like a mini reanimate.
Yeah, it's great. Next up, we have Unfounded Suspicions, a 2-cost rune, Divinity 3. You can pay blue less if you control the Demon Resonator, like you're going to in Valgot. Shuffle a card at random from your hand into your deck. If you do, return the Resonator to its owner's hand. Look at the chosen target's controller's hand. Choose a Resonator and a non-Resonator card from among them. You discard the chosen cards. Or they discard the chosen cards. I have a question for Alejandro just to make sure I'm understanding this correctly. If I remove the target in response to this card being cast, I don't have to discard anything because there's no chosen target at resolution, and therefore, as such, there's no target chosen resonate. Like, chosen target's controller doesn't exist because there's no target. Just want to verify that I'm understanding that correctly. This card's pretty neat.
What you talking about?
So it does say if you do return the target resonator to its owner's hand, period. Look at chosen target's controller's hand and choose a resonator card. So if there's no
Oh,
target
that's
at resolution, then okay, cool. If there's no target at resolution, so if I sack it in response or kill it myself in response, you don't then get to rip cards out of my hand. Relevant information for this. It does also say that you have to shuffle a card from your hand into the deck to be able to do this effect, which I also think is great. You can't just be like, well, I have no cards in my hand. +3. Like, you have to actually get a card to make this work, which I think is cool. Neat.
Good card.
Yeah. Next up, we have Harvesting the Crimson Essence. Divinity 2, Chant Rune, 2 black, quick cast. If you play it from a rune area, it's 1. Crazy. As an additional cost to play this card, banish a Resonator, so you have to have something else to sack. Target player banishes a non-demon Resonator that has or shares the highest total cost from among Resonators they control. You gain X, where X is the defense of the Resonator banished this way. A pretty decent little spot removal spell. That's essentially we're each gonna lose one guy, and I'm gonna gain some life.
Yeah, that's
Okay.
a neat card.
Yeah, it's fine. It's a great starter deck card. Like all of these so far have been like, this feels like it's gonna be it's not just vanillas. It's gonna feel like we have some cool back and forth interaction. Like we're in good space. Next up, we have Paul's favorite card so far. Given how much Paul loves Magic Stone Golem, this makes perfect sense. This is
yes.
This is Grinnell, the suffocating spit demon lord. What a name. 5 cost, flying Bane, Vileborn 4. You pay 1 void less to play this card for each different name among Magic Stones you control. Enter, choose up to 2 resonators your opponent controls with defense less than the attack of this card. Destroy the chosen resonator. And for rune, triple black, so if you have 3 black runes revealed, you can play it from your graveyard. So it's repeatable. Doesn't target. Let's choose.
This guy really just gonna come back to the grave, and just hawk Tua all over your opponent's board.
Over and over and over.
Just spit on
and
that
over
thing.
and over again.
Spit on them things.
Huh.
Yeah.
Fuck.
And you're dead.
Grendel sigh, I should call her.
Oh, that's terrible.
Oh boy. Yeah, I like this card a
Yeah,
lot. It feels like a super rare.
yeah,
It'll feel
Joe
good
Cole,
for the starter
this
deck.
demon's
Like
just putting his kinks out there. Yeah, this thing's a horny on main. It's terrible.
Like it can't necessarily. The thing that's nice to me too is this can't necessarily answer boss monsters. Like the fact that it has to be specifically less defense than this thing's attack means that like he'll be able to get rid of like tinier guys. He won't be able to get rid of like your big beater. And considering the fact that he will potentially cost only 2 black to cast is like good. Let's make it so that he can. He doesn't.
Wait a minute. Jeremy, do you have to choose the resonators upon this card entering? Like, it's
Resolution.
not targeting.
It's resolution.
Oh, okay. So you can just, like, in response to this entry going on in the stack, you could just plus 100 counters on him or give it a buff and then suddenly kill 2 things.
Mm-hmm.
That's
Yeah.
pretty neat.
Yeah.
That's pretty neat.
Do keep in mind that if you're playing as Valgot, your +1/+1 counters become +0/0 counters.
Amikage's blood. It's fine. We'll be okay.
Blood of the Mikage is not quick cast.
Wait. No, shit, you're right. Fuck. I'll find a way. I'll find a way.
No!
Once
Next
they-
up we have Demon Division, which is we just
Never seen this card
demonic,
before.
demonic tutor, nice reprint there. Next up we have another edition rune. This is the Glyph of Never-Ending Sorrow. It's 1x, Chains of Darkness. At the beginning of your turn, you lose 2 life and get a 2/2 Darkness Resonator token. It gets +X/+X. So if you pay this for just 1, you get a 2/2 Darkness Dude every turn. And you can tap and pay black to banish a Resonator and this card to bring a card back from your graveyard into your hand. I think this card's fine. I think this card's like okay for a starter deck kind of a thing. I like the fact that it's an addition rune in the fact that like if I'm upgrading the starter deck, I probably take these out of the main deck and shift one of them to the rune deck, keeping in mind that like when I cast it, it then comes out of the rune deck, so the Divinity 7 doesn't super matter. Like this feels like a card that's going to be probably your first one to like swap out, right? If you're trying to upgrade the Valgot deck a lot, which is fine. Like I honestly like that in a starter deck to have like, oh, I would use this deck differently, or here's where I can free up deck space as I like slowly buy new cards. Like I think that's nice.
Yeah, this card's fine.
Yeah, it's fine. Nothing too crazy.
Yeah.
Speaking of the Marvel Rare, we have Dorian, the Heartless Aristocrat. It is a 1-cost 4/4 quick cast Bane Vileborn 4. So this is Robometa if Robometa was a demon. Pay 1 black to become a 6/6 with Eternal until end of game. That gets a portrait counter. Pay 2. If there's exactly 1 portrait counter, it becomes a 9/9. And then whenever it deals battle damage to a player, that player's life becomes their current life divided by 2. And then gets a second portrait counter. And then pay 2 black. If there are 2... Oh, excuse me. If there are 2 portrait counters, it gets a -1/-1 counter on a resonator. If it targets itself, you draw a card. Keep in mind, this has the same thing with Robometa, where you can just do the first effect twice if you wanted to bypass your and go straight to the third effect than doing the middle one. I think it's better than Robometa in the fact that the middle effect is the best effect. With Robometa, the third effect is the best effect. And most of the time we just ignore the middle effect. But for Dorian, the middle effect is the best one for him, which I think is just fine. I think this card's great. Dorian Gray reference? Yeah, for sure.
I feel like the words divided by 2 rounded down is very interesting in a game like Force of Will. I feel like that will need clarification.
So like if I go to 1500 life after this thing attacks me, I'll go down to 700.
Yeah.
Yeah, you don't count 50s.
You don't count 50s.
Yeah, it's
So
just I guess it's just
we've had rounded up before.
Oh, we have.
We've had rounded up before, and we've had rounded down before.
Okay.
It always goes to the. It
very,
always goes to the.
Very
hundreds.
interesting text. Yeah, it's just very interesting text for like a new player coming into the starter deck and seeing its effect.
Are we getting a cycle of these Robometa style cards? I wouldn't hate it if we had other ones that were kind of thematically the same.
Yeah,
If Paul saw a mermaid in blue that had this Robometa, he'd probably just cry.
Yeah, probably.
I would just have to leave the podcast and immediately start deck building.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah.
Next up, we have another one of the pure
deck
runes.
building.
The new pure. If you're at 100 life, it sets you to 0. It's true. It will kill you at that point in time.
Sick.
Demonic Midnight Mass. It is a 4-cost Divinity 4. Remove all non-demon resonator cards in all graveyards from the game. Each player then puts as many non-magic stone, non-chant darkness cards with different printed names as they control from their graveyard into the field, and then lose X 100 life, or X is the number of cards moved this way from their graveyard to the field. So, Mikage's Game of Dreams, but kind of different because you can potentially manipulate it to only have demons, so therefore, or darkness cards, so then like your opponent doesn't get any value off of it. Sure.
Yeah.
Mass Reanimate.
Yeah.
If there was a rune that I would get rid of to put in the addition when I'm changing the starter deck around, it's this one.
This one! Yay!
Which is, again, fine. Like, I think that's fine. Like, it's not every card in the starter deck has to be the most insane banger you've ever seen. It's okay. Next up, we have Golden Bracelet.
Starter decks have to be perfect.
No. Next up, we have the Golden Bracelet of the Raven's Order. Added Resonator gains plus 300, minus 100, and Terrifying. On enter, you add this target to a Resonator control. Let's make that more common for things that add to stuff getting added on cast. Enter or whenever the added Resonator deals damage to a player, look at your opponent's hand and choose a card with total cost 4 or less from among them. Move it from the game. This ability triggers only once per turn. Ethereal Princess.
Oh, come on!
What if Ethereal Princess was also a Look of Corruption every turn for 0 for free?
Gross.
Oh my god. Wait, this is only once per turn. This is also during your opponent's turn. You can use this as disruption.
That's what I'm saying. That's what I'm saying.
Fuck.
When added Resonator leaves the field, you put a card from the removed area that was removed by this card into its owner's hand. So if you have removed a bunch of them, you get to pick which one they get back, but they get back at least one of them.
Mm-hmm.
And then bestow for black and tap or double black. So if you can kill the... Go ahead.
Jeremy, is this the first Regalia with bestow on it?
Correct. That's true.
Huh.
And you're going to see the second.
Yeah, we'll get there. I do like the fact that like this does have to resolve its enter effect. It does at least, even if... I like the fact that it's a 2-cost Look of Corruption, even if your opponent responds and kills the thing you're trying to attach it to. It makes this card feel not super bad if your opponent has interaction. Like, you're still going to get something out of it, which I think is nice. Mm-hmm. And the bestow cost is expensive in that regards. But, like, if this thing goes off, like, oh, boy. Like, if you get this on an Ethereal Princess or something that can ping your opponent, like, at instant speed, like, every turn, whoop.
Whoopsie daisy.
Yeah. Yeah, for sure. This card's very good. I imagine this card will see play outside of the starter deck. Next up, we have the Perpetual Storm over Raven's Order Castle. Anyone else getting Never-Ending Ruins, Ruins of Never-Ending Rain, Rain Ruins vibes from the name of this card?
I'm definitely feeling the rain ruins from the rains of Order's
Yeah.
Castle with the raining ruins and the ruins
Yeah,
lightning.
I got that vibe from the name of this card.
Yeah.
Non-demon resonators gain -2/-2. You can target resonators with barrier with spells and abilities you control. And tap, pay black, target non-demon resonator gains -5 until end of turn. And then this card gains at the end of turn. Its controller banishes it until the end of the game. So mostly it's there to provide a stat neg and make it so you can shoot things. I do like that it only removes only gets rid of resonators with barrier. So like additions and everything else will still be good. Yeah, I like this. I think it's decent. It's a fine starter deck card. Do I think it's another 2-drop it's not a grave, so it doesn't work with new Sigurd. I was like, this is a pretty decent addition to grab with Sigurd, except Sigurd only grabs grave additions.
No, Jeremy. No, Jeremy.
Gives you some
I will
Alvarez
say,
vibes.
fun little flavor thing on this thing that I feel might not be like, I don't know, maybe it was intentional, maybe it wasn't. The fact that it's specifically -500 and there's a bunch of lightning shooting around everywhere.
Lightning
Thunder
bolt?
and lightning strike both deal 500.
Yeah, that's pretty funny. Hey,
I see what you did
there. We have these were cards from the starter deck that were spoiled in the video. We have Pestilent Spit Demon of Slithmere, so the little tiny spit guy.
Hawk.
You can play this. You can play this. This guy just spits. He doesn't hawk 2-way. He just kind of. You may play this card from your graveyard as long as you control a demon ruler or demon J/resonator. It cannot block. And you can pay 1 black and remove it from your graveyard to put 4 -1/-1 counters on a resonator. This card's just fine. Just fine. It's a little dude.
Cool.
Yeah.
Do you like Gravecrawler? Here's your 2/1 equivalent that cannot block and comes back from the grave if you control a demon. Somebody really likes Magic the Gathering, especially like 2011 to like 2019 modern.
Next up, we have the
Right.
Relentless Tormenting Demon, a 1-cost demon nightmare. Whenever a demon resonator leaves the field, each player loses 300 life. So to Mike's credit about like we're losing life, that is Valgott's approach. Rune 2.
Incrementally.
Rune 2. Demon resonators you control gain +200 attack and terrifying. And at Rune 3, at the end of the turn of your turn, it reanimates itself.
That's cool.
Keep in mind that this does mean that Valgott could like I think the timing of at the end of your turn I think is good design in the fact that I do think if you sack this to Valgott, it would then miss timing to be able to immediately reanimate itself. Now, Valgott would get to reanimate it anyway and then put a -1/-1 counter on it, but then it does mean that like if you sack it later, it wouldn't be able to bring itself back again, which I think is nice. Let's, again, not just make too much free stuff. Next up, we have the Mournful Spirit of Ravidra's Castle, 2-cost 5/7 with Precision and Bane. A great combination of keywords. Enter, destroy target resonator you don't control, and then whenever this card destroys a resonator, you remove all -1/-1 counters from resonators you control and put a -1/-1 counter on each resonator you do control. I really like this as a really nice turn 2 play in Valgott. Because you can play a demon on 1, Valgott sacks it to draw a card and reanimates it with a -1/-1 counter, and then on the following turn, you could like swing with that 1, especially if it has like flying. It hits, you play this, kill the demon, or kill their thing that they played on turn 1, remove all the -1/-1 counters from the thing that you sacked on turn 1, and then sack it to Valgott again, and then reanimate it with a -1/-1 counter on it. Like, it synergizes well as a nice little turn 2 play for in the starter deck. Little niche interactions like that make cool moments when you're doing demo deck games, so I like that interaction a lot.
I also like the way that this is worded because it says remove all -1/-1 counters from resonators you control. Period. So So even if you don't have any -1 counters, you can just play this generically and then give your opponent -1 counters to just get rid of all of their +1s.
Yeah. Yep.
I think that's interesting.
Yeah, very cool. And then the last,
Also, Wicked Spirit.
yeah, ooh. And then the last
It's
one
also
we
a
have
2-drop
here
water resonator.
Oh.
Hmm.
And then the last one we
Is
have
Mermaid?
here is Eaten Alive. Is a chant with Ruined Remnant. You may pay 1 black to play this card from your hand. Look at your opponent's hand, choose a light card, a fire card, or a wind card. You remove the chosen target card from the game. If you pay double black for this, put a 6/5 Darkness Demon Resonator token into the field. Do mind you that this specifically does say, it doesn't say you may pay 1 black less. It means you pay 1 black less. So from hand, this card will never generate a body. It will just be a discard spell, which is, again, I like that as design space. So if you cast it from the rune area or the graveyard, you can get a body as well. But from the hand, it will never additionally generate a body. It's good.
This might be some of the most terrifying fucking artwork I've ever seen in this game in my whole life.
It is very gross.
Yeah.
Very alien.
Very
xenomorph.
alien. Yes.
Very H.R. Geiger meets like this one. This is something that like it lives in H.R. Geiger's closet. Pops
Yeah.
out to scare him.
Yeah, maybe.
The name is Jeff.
Next up, let's go to
Yeah.
our next regalia that has Bestow. This is Velmardian, Great Shield. We're jumping into the white deck at this point in time. Quick cast. You, the player, gain barrier. Added Resonator gains plus 800 defense protect. And then becomes at plus 800 protect, barrier chance, and Resonators battling this card lose multi-strike, pierce, and bane. Enter, add this card to target Resonator you control. So keep in mind that this is really good for Matilda because she can produce a white, dig during your opponent's turn, and then put this into hand, and then pay the 1 to immediately cast it. Like, it gives her some points of interaction, which I think is really nice. This is really, really good. Yeah, you gain
Exactly.
barrier. Really good for beating Viola. You, the player, gain barrier. No. Also, really good for beating Soul Eating Curse, because I will say Soul Eating Curse does target.
Also, really good for beating the Ethereal Princess combos.
Yes,
and,
also really good for stopping the Ethereal
yeah.
Princess combo.
Fuck you,
Barrier
idiot
Soul Eating Curse.
Princess. Yeah.
It's also just in general a nice light regalia to trigger
Yeah.
all of those Alice Origins rulers.
Mm-hmm. One drop quick cast light regalia, very nice. Yeah, very cool card.
That's pretty good.
End of your turn, trigger my own stuff.
Which is really so. Like, again, the best starter decks in all of card games feel internally synergistic, that the deck itself feels good to play out the box as is, and has good amounts of flashable, splashable, outside this deck implications, because then you feel like you're getting the most value, and it then encourages newer players to then go out and experiment, because the tools they have can then be used in other places. And so far, these decks knocking it out of the park in that regard. I really like it. The more things we get to hurt the one Viola player, the better. Listen, Bug, we care about you so much so that we're going to give you a little space at the next Fow Fest to make those amazing little like placards for everybody who shows up.
Oh, they're
because
so.
they're
I still need to put mine
amazing.
up here.
I have
I need to
mine.
put mine,
I
like,
have
right
Fox in my
here.
deck box in his little thing. And he's great. We take care of our people here. Next up, we have
take care of our own, even if
Two
I Spy wants to
arms.
shit on our rulers.
2 arms. Chant Rune
Two
Divinity 2.
arms.
You play 2
Arms.
void less to play, or 1 white, so it's this free. If it's the first spell named 2 arms, you played this game and you choose the first option. Search your deck for an angel card, a knight card, or a card with Bestow. Reveal it and put it in your hand, then shuffle your deck. So you get a free tutor at the beginning of the game, essentially. Target a Resonator. Add up to 2 entities you control with Bestow, not added to the chosen target, to the chosen target.
That's neat.
I think it's fine. I think this card sees, this is one of those ones again where if I'm upgrading the Matilda deck from like as it's built based on what the runes are that are in the rune deck, probably one of these goes in the rune deck. So I just know that from the beginning of the game I have a free search, right? I think that's fine. I think that's great.
Small related anecdote, by the way. I remember in like GVG era Hearthstone, whenever you went into turn 5 against the Paladin, you would start the turn by saying, "How many arms do you have?" And the guy would come down and be like, "2 arms, men." And that's what I think about when I see this card now.
Free search for the bracelet? Yeah, that's a little gross because it doesn't say a light card.
Oh.
Dark Matilda.
Oh, Dark Matilda.
Yeah.
Punish Matilda.
It doesn't say what the attribute of the card. It can just be whatever. So that's kind of gross.
Funny story.
Interesting.
This card can search Raging Messiah. Gatekeeper.
A lot of good angels. Out there. A lot of good angels out there.
Charlotte, Inheritor of the Seventh Power.
Man.
Wing Seraph, Morning Angel. Hey.
Oh no.
Not too bad.
You can play Dante
Oh my
Enters.
God.
You can play Dante Enters to draw 3 cards and then start gaining the life back every turn because your life is less than 3,000. That's pretty good. That's pretty good. That's pretty good.
Hang on.
Dark
Guys,
Matilda. Dark Matilda. It's pretty
no,
good.
No, problem. Is 2 arms a 4 of in Luminaries, so you can search out the Raging Messiah for your Invitation to Purgatory.
I mean, it costs 2. I mean, the first one is free, so I
No,
guess
it
that's
doesn't.
true.
It costs 0.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. The first one is free.
Jeremy.
It's also funny that in ABC, if you're playing the Matilda colors for Arcana Ruler, you can cast this and search out your Bahamut. He's a night
It's
card.
a night card.
Yeah.
This card has some implications.
Okay,
Yeah.
let's move on to the
And
next
that's
one.
before we get other angels and other
Yeah.
knights, right? That's pretty good.
Next up, we have Knight Captain of Velmardia. It's just a 1-drop 2/2 that gives your Knight Resonators Defiant 2. Rune 1, it also generates another 2/2 Light Knight Resonator token. And Rune 2, it gets another one. So if you're at 2 runes of any kind, this is 3 2/2s for 1.
With Defiant.
With Defiant, so they'll each be able to attack twice.
Yes.
Ooh.
So essentially
And they
essentially
don't- and
3
they don't
4
rest.
4s. Essentially 3 4 4s with Vigilance.
Mhm.
Very relevant.
Yeah.
Man, I love the fact that a Magic designer came in on the set and was like, I'm gonna do some fucking work. Let's go. Oh,
Next-
that Farmer's Tant's terrible.
Our
Jeez.
last card for the night is the Elite Swordsman of Velmaria. Defiant is a cumulative ability.
Excuse me?
So if I have multiple things
Oh.
granting excuse me, hold on. So if I have say 3 of these guys, then all of my Night Resonators have Defiant 6?
No, whoa. No. Hang on. Night Resonators you control gain
Oh my.
wait, no.
White
Oh,
weenies, White weenies, boys. Oh.
This is
Oh.
a very good white weenie.
No, this is not a white weed. This is a knight. This is a white schlong.
I mean, they don't
It's
get
just
they don't
gone
get
down.
so they don't get bigger. So they are 2/2s, right? But
They're
still,
12, Jeremy.
I mean, if they take 200 damage, they die. So that's
Uh,
fine. Last card of the night is Elite Swordsman of Velmaria. This is a
Of the
1
night?
cost 4/4 human knight. Quick cast and first strike. It gains +1/+1 if you're the first player of the game. Enter, choose a fire entity, a darkness entity, an ability, or a chant spell. Prevent all damage that would be dealt by the chosen entity, ability, or spell until end of the turn. Enter, fire resonators and darkness resonators entering the field don't cause their own enter abilities to trigger until the end of the turn.
That's cool.
I like that.
I like that.
It's like a mini targeted like ability fog. It's like a mini girl staring at that's like much more niche. And then at Rune 2, you can pay 1 white to trigger one of this card's enter abilities. So you can kind of like protect yourself a little bit. This card feels great. This card feels great.
It's also a knight, so we can get that Defiant. Yay.
With first strike. Oh, look, it's another hate card for Minha to run against me.
And he will
This is gonna
draw
be-
it
That being said,
every turn.
it does say choose a fire. Oh, and it does say an ability.
Entity's ability or chance spell. That is fire or darkness.
So the question here is the entity the entity part is the strongest prevention because the same entity could potentially deal damage multiple times in a single turn and thus be very good to stop that. The chance spell is good because it can stop like a single burn spell or a single life loss spell. It is damage specifically. The ability part is arguably the weakest because you're just targeting an ability one time. So something like the sub-ruler side of Prisia, you get to prevent 300 and then you'd keep taking damage from the other ones that it continues to landfall you with. But it is like, this is pretty good. This is still a very good card.
Yeah, I would call this card good. And I would call this card really good with Defiant 6, Alejandro.
Yeah, for sure.
Oh God.
Yeah, I can't wait for Defiant 12. And then you play it, and then you pair it to Ruchiel, and you're like,
Not in fucking not in Paradox,
not
baby.
in Paradox, baby. Yeah.
Uncontested. Let's go.
Yeah, I'm confused why the first line of text is there to gain +1/+1 as the first player in the game. I think it's fine.
Just get a little bit of a extra benefit.
Finding the balance. So here's one of the things. This is a good kind of place to end the conversation tonight. Force of Will has always had this really interesting dynamic of the power balance of first and second. There are times in Force of Will's history where going first has been inexorbitantly better. Just like hands down, there's no reason to not go first. Even in the Energize era, like when Energize came into the game, there were still times where just like going first was still just better. Then there was a big chunk of time where going second, it was a long chunk of time, where going second because of the Energize was just hands and fists better than going first. Regardless of matchup, it's just always better to go second. Now in the Regalia, the Fate Trigger era, we're close to a balance, although it hasn't been perfect in all of the design space going first or second. It's like based on the ruler. Some of them really want to go first and really want to go, like the power balance for that one ruler going first or second is inexorably better. But like as a mechanic as a whole, I feel like we're getting close to a general sense of there being a power balance between first and second. We're not quite there, and so effects to me like this feel like that's a way for us to continue to balance it out a little bit so that the die roll going first or second or whatever doesn't have quite as much sway over game results. Now we gotta be cautious because you can overcorrect, right? But this to me, that effect feels like that to me, is that it's like it's a way to kind of continue to kind of tweak the balance so that as a flat base whole, first or second doesn't carry with it too much of an advantage, which I think is a good thing to pursue in game balance. That's me. That's my thought.
Good thoughts, Jeremy.
Thanks. I'm excited. This is excited stuff.
I'm too. This design space is really interesting. It's neat that it's like kind of taking a lot of inspiration from modern FOW, but also taking a lot of inspiration from other games. Not going to name any in particular. And really just kind of like rolling with the ideas and kind of spinning it to its own like kind of semblance at this point. Do a lot of cards still have too many words for my liking? Of course, they're always going to. I like cards that have like 2 lines of text, and most cards in this game currently have
6,
4, 5, 6. Yeah.
Yeah.
So some hesitation on my part, obviously, just from my personal standpoint as a game designer myself. But I see the vision. I see something that's being, acted on. I see that the vision is more clear and concise in this set, which is really cool. And I really hope to see more of this design ideal moving forward, especially as we move more into Paradox, and we can kind of tone down power levels and take more inspiration from other games rather than trying to outdo them.
Yep.
I think everything is moving in the right direction.
Yeah.
Also, more Wardens. These cards are fucking awesome. I love Wardens.
We know there's at least Bruised. So we know at least one. He's
At
coming.
least Baroost and Morgana. Like that's what we've got.
I
The
imagine
the more I can make Baroost happen, like I want to do the Baroost Stone combos. We have cloning magic from Masterpiece 2. I can Baroost combo in Paradox, and if I can do that,
Well, you
I
can't.
am a happy camper.
Well, you can't Baroost combo yet because Baroost is not Paradox legal. But if we get a new Baroost resonator,
Or
from-
if they just reprint the Baroost Resonator.
yeah, that's true. Vingol 3.
Which would be nice. Just saying.
Yeah. None of you guys. Hey, listen. Wait. Holsizer, you are not. No.
Oh.
No. Okay, you've lost your mod status. You've lost your mod status.
In true Gil Lapis fashion.
Oh, phenomenal.
Listen, you're not allowed.
There he is,
In
he's
fact,
back.
here we go. I'm gonna hold on.
Whoa.
Hold on.
Timing out Holshizer.
Amazing.
Let's see.
Oh.
No, even better. No, no, even better.
I thought this was America.
I removed his mod status and I just gave mod status to Joe. I've reversed your roles.
He did
I've
win
reversed your
Foulfest. He
roles.
might as well. I'm pretty sure winning Foulfest immediately makes you a mod for the channel.
But listen, you
Oh, this
Y'all
is
are-
awful.
y'all are crazy.
Infinite power.
Infinite power.
Infinite power.
Anyway,
You
with
have no power
with that
here.
being said, what a great end to tonight. Thank you all so much for being here. It was just a great conversation. I'm really excited about the rest of Evil Cluster. I will say this. Let me hold on. Actually, let me double check before I say this because I don't want to be
Okay, let's
dumb
do it.
and have done said the wrong thing.
Oh.
Let's see. Hold on.
Oh my god. Holy shit.
I'm gonna just double check.
Oh my gosh.
Jeremy, please mod
Yes.
Deepwood
Okay.
University as
Specifically,
well. Thank you.
specifically, I will go up and mod Deepwood University. I will get that.
Yes.
Here we go. You are modded.
Oh
I will say
my
this:
God.
next week is our exclusive spoilers. So you definitely will not want to miss our podcast next week because next week we will go over our
Yes.
4 exclusive spoilers, and they are pretty cool cards. Pretty cool cards. They gave you some good stuff again. So thank you all so much for being here. As always, if you like what we're doing, want to consider supporting the channel, you can click that join button down below. Go get your pre-orders in and get your groups, your play groups, your groups or whatever to get your pre-orders of the next circuit kit in before things go too far and we run out of time for those. We want to get those out to everybody. And we'll see y'all next time. So until then, this is myself, Demo73, and I've been joined, as always, by my Grants.
Just remember, if you win Foulfest, you get mod privileges. This is a proven fact right now. Please
And,
win Foulfest next year.
And Paul Reisman.
I need more knights.
Class dismissed. Bye.
Me.